Good evening. How's everyone doing? I was gonna originally make my review for this piece of Smurf film right here. Today I was planning on seeing and this the new Smurfs film in theaters and making my review slash rant for it, but that's gonna wait for another day because I had to go to work right after seeing the movie earlier this afternoon, and I had to go to work tonight. So in the middle of that, when I heard the news, I realized, okay, this, like I said, it can wait for another day, especially when all that frustration and annoyance with a film you just saw just devolves into sadness over when you lose someone you love. I I guys, I'm actually lost for words right now. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, him and Tony Iommi and Bill Ward and Geezer Butler, the four members of Black Sabbath, essentially the grandfathers of heavy metal and one of the most influential musicians of our time, arguably one of maybe even the most influential. And the founders of I'm just guys, I'm speechless. I it was emotional enough knowing that this past 2 weeks ago, the 2 Saturdays ago, the fifth, the Back to Beginning concert, that big festival with Ozzy and the original Sabbath lineup, and all his other bands are with him, like Metallica and Lamb of God and Gojira and Alice in Chains and Slayer, like so many bands and excuse me, beloved metal and rock artists were there to say farewell to Ozzy. But I mean, and then the news today, I've been deeply saddened over the loss of celebrities before, viewers, but finding out about Ozzy leaving this world for the next life was this was the first time something news like that had me in a state of grief. I don't know where to begin, because it was, I'd say, I like to tell people this. My mom raised my sister and I on classic music and music from the 60s and 70s, 80s. Classic rock like Beach Boys got me through elementary school. Alternative rock from the 90s, 2000s got me through middle school and high school. Bands like Green Day and Fall Out Boy and Linkin Park. Heavy metal got me through college, like Black Sabbath and of course Ozzy Osbourne and Avenged Sevenfold and Dragon Force got me through my college years. So those are my, and the start of my just going through dog daycare jobs and zoo internships. Yeah, all three of those genres have been by my side, and I Paranoid is one of my favorite albums of all time. War Pigs is the quintessential anti-Vietnam War era song, and I think its messages criticizing America's involvement in Vietnam back in the early 70s still hold up so well this day. And that album was so full of bangers like the titular Paranoid and Iron Man. And the album before that, Black Sabbath, the song Black Sabbath and the album Black Sabbath, it's so haunting and just dark sounding. It was they just, they pioneered heavy music and made metal into from that day forward, there was metal, then countless subgenres started sprouting out over the decades. It's that's arguably the best part about metal, is just the sheer diversity of different subgenres, different sounds people take. And yeah, Ozzy and Geezer and the boys were arguably the common ancestor to everything we know as metal to this day. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a while now for my Instagram page, is just draw pictures of Ozzy and all the other frontmen from all the bands that played with him that day in Birmingham with pet dinosaurs. So I really want to practice just drawing pictures of human characters and prehistoric animals this summer, right? But with the news today, I want to do something a little more sincere, something that was more relatable to Ozzy. I gave him Ultimate Bats because he was kind of notorious for biting bats' heads off at concerts. Don't ask, he was Ozzy. But yeah, there's I just remember metal often gets unfairly associated with anger and evil and dark stuff and devil worship and all this very scary, not so good things. But it's like I said, not only was War Pigs an anthem against the Vietnam War, it's like Crazy Train. A lot of people, I don't think enough people know this, was actually like about the Cold War. And I remember like just being hooked on that song in high school because we actually played a like band version of that song for the football team for pep band. Like I played a tuba all throughout high school and I played the sousaphone during the fall for the pep band. And we played Crazy Train at a lot of our halftime shows. And the lyrics off of Crazy Train and like, Randy Rhoads, Ozzy, give Randy Rhoads a big hug for us. I miss both of you very much. Like, the iconic guitars in that song and the lyrics just, maybe it's not too late to learn how to love and forget how to hate. It's just like, I remember 17-year-old me, like, listening to that song on repeat, especially, this is going to sound kind of weird, but like 2015, when I was a junior in high school, ISIS attacked Paris and like loads of people on Facebook, like, changed their Facebook profiles to like having their French flag on it. And like, and there was just but people were saying like, hey, this is a time where all need to come together, and this is ISIS's fault, like, not people of like Middle Eastern descent necessarily. And it's like, and I remember those lyrics off of Crazy Train, that this is a time we can't fight hatred and intolerance with hatred and intolerance. We need to find things that bring us together, and music is a perfect way to do that. Because part of me really wanted to go to Birmingham this summer because my godmother, who's from the UK, is also a huge fan of Black Sabbath, her and her husband. I would have loved to have visited them this summer, but unfortunately it was just like way too out of my budget and just like my time, with like schedule with work and everything. But yeah, I still haven't watched the live stream yet, but I hear there's going to be a film version of it coming out soon, so I'm damn sure going to see that when it comes around. And yeah, I really don't know what else to say, like, because I knew for the longest time that like behind the scenes Ozzy was struggling with so much behind the surface, like, and again, metal isn't all just angry and screamy and heavy and intense. Like, look at songs like Mama, I'm Coming Home, which a lot of people don't know this either, is actually about Sharon Osbourne, his wife, not about like his parents. Yeah, it's a very heartfelt song. I remember like reading online that like during his final performance he played that song during his solo set before the original Black Sabbath lineup showed up, like and everyone, there was not a dry eye in the stadium, and there are dry eyes in the world right now. Like, yeah, it's anyways, I just, Ozzy, thank you so much for everything. I miss you very much. Anyways, that's gonna, well, to my question for you guys right now is, if you have a favorite Black Sabbath song or favorite Ozzy Osbourne song, leave it in the comments down below for me, please. And just hug someone you love tonight. Rest in power, Ozzy. I love you.